What's going on, everybody? Emceemur here, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Arcade1Up HDMI game console with the wireless controller, the Mega Man edition. All right, and do we need this? No. Why don't we need it? Because we did the Pac-Man unit already. The Pac-Man is the one you want because it's got the arcade versions of games on it. You can't add MAME to these, so far as I know. That's why you want that. This has just got NES Mega Man on it, and when you add the NES ROM sets to this thing, well, you're gonna have that. You're gonna double up. So it's just, you know, you don't really need this. But these have been hard to find. So are these gonna be collectible down the road? I don't know. I picked them both up when we saw them, so it's whatever. But we've got unfinished business with these. All right. We did a couple test ROMs on the Pac-Man unit. They worked. We know basically what we're working with, but we have yet to put a full build on one of these, see what it's fully capable of, and kind of take a tour of what it's got going on there. So that's what we're going to do today, and it's important for one reason, that these will play more types of games than the @Games units we've looked at here in the past. So that's the interesting part. So this is going to have some extra stuff going on. We're going to be looking at Game Gear stuff, Atari 7800 stuff, Game Boy Advance stuff that we just haven't added to these types of units in the past. So it's going to get interesting. It's going to get technical. And who do we reach out to for help with that kind of technical stuff? None other than the master man with the master plan himself, Gen X John at Gen X Grown Up. John.
Thanks, Mur. Hey, it's John here from Gen X Grown Up, and once again, I'm thrilled that Emceemur hit me up saying that he was looking to add ROMs to one of these commercially marketed boxes that we're going to jam some ROMs in and make it do way more than it was ever expected to do. You know, over on Gen X Grown Up, we do a lot of very, very retro game-centric things, whether it's the tabletop units or original arcade or Atari stuff. And so I picked up one of these myself from a local Target, and I brought it home and I tried it, and short of adding ROMs to it like Mur is doing in this video, I didn't see a real need to own it, so I actually took it back for a refund. Never even did a review of it. It was just some more games that I had in other places. But that's not what's important right now. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to get the ROMs together to supercharge Emceemur's Arcade1Up little game console. All I've done so far is gather together the ROM images that Emceemur is going to need. I have the Atari 7800, Game Boy Advance, Game Gear, and Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, SFC there. And we're going to do two main things to these ROM images. So the first transform I'm going to do is to make sure that the file extension on all of these images match what this little Arcade1Up unit needs. And so we know that, like, for example, the Atari 7800, if I hop in there, some of these are named A78, some are named Ben. It varies. We want to make sure they're all A.78. So all we have to do is drag them all into the Advanced Renamer, the same tool that I've used several times to do these edits on ROMs. And we're going to put in a replace rule. I'm going to select all of the extensions only, and change them from whatever it currently is to A78. And then I run that batch. They'll all convert just like that. And if we hop back in the Atari 7800, we can see, there we go, they're all A78s now, so we're in good shape there. We're going to do the same thing for the Game Boy Advance and Game Gear. So the Game Boy Advance all need to be .GBA, and so we're going to make sure that we change all of them to .GBA. Now that won't change all of them, just a few, but whatever doesn't match will absolutely be GBA now. And we'll do the same thing finally to these Game Gear games. We'll drag them all in, and we'll make sure the file extension on all of them is .GG. We'll run that batch, away it goes, and we're all set. Now the last one is this Super Famicom or Super Nintendo folder. Again, Emceemur already has these. We're just making sure they're all renamed .SFC. Now the second thing we're going to do is make sure that all the spaces are removed from the file names. Now we don't know for certain that this Arcade1Up unit needs those spaces out, but we know in other units we've added ROMs to that's caused trouble. So we're absolutely going to remove the spaces here, and it's really easy. We're going to drag all of these ROMs into Advanced Renamer, and we're going to change the rule to affect the name, search for any spaces, and replace the space with null, nothing. That basically would go through and find every single instance of that space and get rid of it with a zilch. Okay, the batch is all done, so let's hop in an example. GBA, yep, no spaces in those. Let's hop and look at Game Gear, no spaces in those. And that's it. So we've prepared what is effectively, let's do a quick count here, nearly 4,000 new ROMs across these 4 platforms ready for Emceemur to put into his Arcade1Up game console. All right, Mur, back to you. Let's see how it goes.
Thanks, John. So, you know, I'm not going to waste a lot of time unboxing this. You know what's in here. I'll give you a little look at what you're getting there if you haven't already seen it. But yeah, it's blue. It's got a Mega Man sticker. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, we're just going to get the games on here and we're going to get it organized and we're going to take a quick tour. We're going to see what it looks like, all right? Get in here. So here we are. We've got the unit fired up. The micro SD card is in it. The games are loaded on it. We're going to check it out. Now, in the video with the Pac-Man unit, we were able to successfully add a ROM for the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo, the Atari 2600, and the NES. So those bin extensions we went over in that. It's still .NES for NES, .bin for Sega Genesis, .A26 for the 2600s. The only thing that changed was we had to go to a .SFC for the Super Nintendo games that were a .fig. You know, how we had them working on the At Games console. So that's different, but that's been changed. We've got all the games loaded on here. We're gonna see what works. If you didn't get to see that video or you just wanna watch a recap on it, you know, whatever you wanna do, I'm gonna go ahead and add a link to that right here so you can check that out. It was a cool video, but we're gonna kind of finish everything up here. Let's see how everything looks. Now, something this unit does differently than the At Games unit, at least so far as we know, is it allows us to have these fun little subfolders in here to separate all the different types of ROMs from each other. I was not able to get that to function on the At Games units. So basically, you've got your folder for your game directory, just labeled game, just like we did before, but inside that folder we'll have these subfolders for each of the different consoles, each of the different platforms to stick all the ROMs into. It's going to make it a lot easier to get in between all these different types since there's going to be a lot more here available to us. And they're all going to fit on this one SD card, whereas we kind of tripped up the At Games unit when we put too much on it. We actually had to split the last one into two different cards. At the top of the list, we've got our Game Gear folder, so let's hop in there and see what's going on. Got some Road Rash on the Game Gear. How bad could that be? You know, I played so much Road Rash back in the day, but I don't recall ever playing the Game Gear version. Let's get this going. This doesn't look half bad. I mean, this is functional. I like this. I mean, I'm a big Road Rasher from back in the day. A lot of you are. So this is cool. We got Game Gear games working on here. That's fantastic. We got some Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap here on the Game Gear, and I gotta tell you, I've never played this version of this game. I have played Wonder Boy titles all throughout my existence, but I've never played the Game Gear version of this game, so this is kind of cool to take a look at. Most importantly though, it looks good, seems to be running good, playing well, so that's what we need to know. So Game Gear works. Let's check out the Game Boy Advance ROMs. While I may have had a way to play this previously, I have not. Rocky on the Game Boy Advance, this I gotta see. Okay, well, I have certainly played worse. I mean, this kind of has a rock'em sock'em style to it, but hey, it's Rocky on the Game Boy Advance. The point is, we got a Game Boy Advance game working here. The Game Boy Advance ROMs seem to be working and doesn't look bad at all, so I mean, is it the best emulation out there? I don't know. That's for the real hardcore tech guys to decide. But, you know, for what these units cost and for how much you can put on them, I mean, that's what we're really weighing in on here. And, of course, we do want to know, are these good ways to play these games? But this seems okay. Now we're looking at the Phantasy Star collection on Game Boy Advance, which is a great thing to have. This doesn't look so great though. We got a lot of aliasing here, whatever the right terminology is. It just you can't even read the shop signs here. It's flickering at a high rate on the monitor here. This just does not look good. It's not playable like this. Now we're playing Phantasy Star 2, and this seems to be okay. I don't see any problem with this. I'm not sure why the first Phantasy Star looked the way it did, but this is okay. We got Final Fantasy Tactics Advance on here, of course, another great title on this console. Yeah, this looks good, so, you know, the issue with Phantasy Star 1, maybe that was an isolated incident. I don't know, sometimes it's the ROM, not necessarily the emulation. But yeah, so we got a working set of Game Boy Advance on here. The main thing is we got to know these things work. There's obviously more games on this setup here that we can test in one sitting, but yeah, this looks okay. Now we're going to try out the Atari 7800 games. Here they are listed. Nothing wrong with some Rampage. That's fun no matter how you do it. Let's get it on. Oh yeah. Well, this looks okay. Boop. And who among us doesn't enjoy some Double Dragon? Although this may not be the prettiest way to play it, here it is. Let's see how functional it ends up being. Well, it's not the prettiest thing I've ever seen. Of course, we knew that going in, but the ROM works, and that's what's important. So it seems like we've got our 7800 playability in line, functionality. So yeah, this is what we want done. Now, I tried to get Game Boy games working on here, original Game Boy, with a .gb extension. It wasn't having any of it. It didn't even recognize them. So we're back to the drawing board on those games. It also did not like the Sega Master System ROMs. No matter what extension we put on them, it either just didn't recognize them or it played them wrong. The colors on screen were all messed up and it was, you know, zoomed in real. I don't know what the problem was, but back to the drawing board on those at least, and may do a update episode if we get those figured out. But in the meantime, we got right at 10,000 ROMs on this thing on a single micro SD, and hey, realistically speaking, that's probably worth the $40 price of admission if you don't already have a way to play all of these games. This also allegedly plays Sega CD games, but again, haven't got that far in the testing yet. That's another subject for another episode. There's still more that we can do with these things, and well, that's fun, including but not limited to checking some of these out in a future live stream perhaps. Anyway, any questions you might have, of course you can leave in the comments and let me know what you think about everything that we've done here so far. There's not much point in it now because we've already added a full list of NES games to this thing, but for the sake of it, let's go ahead and take a look at what was originally included on this unit. I mean, it's a cool looking interface. Artwork is cool. Well, let's take a look. Mega Man 2, as it ever was and ever shall be. I mean, great stuff, but again, if you were not buying this unit to put more games on it, there's no way you can justify the cost of this thing. $40 just to have 6 Mega Man games? You gotta think, we've got so many Mega Man collections available on all the current gen systems, and all of which are pretty much below $20 by now. I've picked some up digitally as low as $7. So yeah, there's just not a whole lot of reason to pay $40 for this thing, unless you're going all in on what we've done here today. I mean, it looks good. There's nothing wrong with this. I didn't really think that there would be. You know, the biggest issue plaguing these things is the fact that the controller is just not that great. I mean, it's too wide. It's not what they originally showed us we were going to get. Again, shenanigans, whatever. But yeah, this isn't it. I mean, it works okay, but you would rather be able to plug something in USB that feels a little bit better in your hands and use that. And you can do that. But as far as what it comes with, it's just going to be this one controller. Mega Man 5, my other favorite out of the original 6. Absolutely love this game. Yeah, nothing really wrong with this that I can see. So, it's Mega Man, again, as it ever was and ever shall be. But again, it's just not worth $40 unless you're planning to go all in and put all the games on it. Once you put all the games on it, these are on there anyway because you're going to do an NES set. So again, the only one of the models offered that's viable is the Pac-Man one with the arcade versions on it. So there you have it.
So that's the long and the short of it. Yeah, the Arcade1Up HDMI plug and play
game console, wireless controller. You know, is it worth 40 bucks? Would you get one? The better question though is, can you get one? Again, I've not seen these again in any Target store since I got these, and these were the only ones that they had at the time. I've heard they've been purchased at Office Depots. I don't know. It wouldn't be an Arcade1Up product if there wasn't some shenanigans with the availability. So I don't rightfully know how to tell you to go about getting one of these, but you're just gonna have to look and keep your eyes peeled if this is something you want. One thing I have seen that's consistent in the market with any devices like these that do what these do is they disappear. They're very low print runs and they're in weird stores. So I don't know, do with that what you will, but we got to take a look at it. I want to thank Gen X John for getting in on the scene with us again and working with us. Always fun to do that. Would you like to see more of what's on this? Would you like to see it in a live stream tour format like we do so often here on the show? Let me know in the comments section what you think about that. I'd love to do a live stream and just play some games and kick around some ideas with you guys like we do. Always a good time. I hope that you liked this video. I hope you're going to drop a like on this video. And most importantly, if you have not already done so, I hope you're going to subscribe to the Emceemur Show and be a part of Mer Nation, because we're rising up all the fantastic things we do right here on the show. You need to be a part of it. Make sure that you smack that notification bell so you're always the first to know when new content goes live. Content like this right here where we take a look at fun and entertaining products for you to use to get your game on. All kind of action going on. Still more to come. So much more coming your way, so stay tuned. Emceemur signing off for this fantabulous unboxing and review, and I will see each and every one of you again next time.